We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
After almost 50 years, the United States has plans to go back to the moon. Why the renewed interest, and what does it mean for the rest of us? Well, we're joined by defense expert Dave Patterson to dig into the moonshot. So welcome back to the show, Dave. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Mark. Happy to be with you.
Now, so Dave, what is the purpose of this new Artemis program? By the way, I love the name Artemis. They could have chosen any other number of nymphs or moon-related goddesses, but there's an Andy Weir book called Artemis, and I think maybe they decided to borrow from the sci-fi canon to name it Artemis. So what's the deal with the program?
Well, as you point out, I mean, the Greeks will always be with us, regardless.
Absolutely.
Well, Artemis missions are back to the moon missions, and it's an exciting time for space exploration. The Artemis missions are in three stages. First, we're going to launch an unmanned version of Artemis 1, which is numerically appropriate. And it will do some rather extraordinary things compared to the Apollo missions, which were very straightforward, as space exploration was at that time. And but Artemis is going to do some things that haven't been done before, and Artemis 1 particularly. It's going to be launched on pad 39B, a very famous pad, and it's going to, on its way to the moon, it's going to drop off some what they call CubeSats, which are small 4 by 4 by 4 inches little satellites that are going to do experiments and will follow the capsule to the moon. And so it's going to be kind of an interesting mission. Additionally, something different, Mark, when it gets to the moon, it's going to take up this rather eccentric orbit that will be some 38,000 miles distant from the moon's surface, which has not been done before, if my recollection is correct. And then it'll return, and at the closest point in the orbit, it'll be about 60 miles from the lunar surface, and then the furthest at orbit will be about 38,000 miles.
Okay, so the reasoning behind this is that it's supposed to be eventually some kind of launch pad for further space exploration, and I believe that they're planning on setting up a space launch system. So that would allow craft to be, well, obviously it comes from the Earth first, but then launched from space, which means it's got a lot less fueling problems because of the lack of inertia. And they could go further than any craft have gone before. Is that about right? And is NASA trying to beat Elon Musk to Mars? That's what I'm asking, really?
Well, I don't think that it's a contest, actually. I think that it's a collaborative effort.
Yes, there was never a space race.
No, only only with the Russians,
Yeah.
and we beat the Sovs. But no, I think it's going to be collaborative because on the third mission, I mean, they used the SpaceX rocket as the landing vehicle. Starship is going to land on the moon and take off from the moon. And so you pretty much have to be in collaboration if you're going to use somebody else's rocket for your mission. And I think that it really is a wonderful combination of commercial entrepreneurship and the U.S. government's NASA program. And from what I can see, oddly enough, it has been working quite well. So I have great optimism for this set of missions. Artemis 2 will be the first manned mission to go around the moon. It's not going to land. It'll carry 4 crew members, and as opposed to 3 on the Apollo missions. And and it will be very similar in profile to the non-landing missions of the Apollo program, where.
Sorry, Dave. So it's going to entirely orbit the moon, the Artemis 2, right? Now, there's always been a lot of questions about, the dark side of the moon. I mean, they even named a Pink Floyd album after it, I believe. So it will be recording, so we'll get a complete up-close map, essentially, of the entire moon.
Well, we've actually done that with previous missions,
Right.
robotic missions, and with sensors and so forth. But yes, they'll have a much better understanding of the dark side of the moon, and they only say that because the sun doesn't shine there.
I know
So,
how inconvenient of the sun.
yeah, I mean, you've always heard the expression, "It's going to go where the sun doesn't shine." Well, now you know where that
Now
is.
we know Artemis 2.
Yeah, right.
Dave Patterson breaking news on that one. So,
Right.
so Dave, we haven't been back to the moon it's coming up 50 years. I believe it was December 72. December, I think it was. So that's almost 50 years since man has stepped foot on the moon. Why the break? Why such a long time?
A lot of people say that they'll excuse this break by the United States had other priorities, and I think that what happened from 1972, when the December 14th, actually, it's 1972 when the last lunar lander took off, until now is. The scientists and the technologists who and still think that unmanned systems are much better, they're less risk, and remember that term, less risk, and that also less expensive, and they won actually.
Well, they don't have to pay the $15 an hour for the astronauts, right?
No, and that's correct. The minimum wage for astronauts, that might be going up with success. Who knows? But no, I think that the visionaries lost out, and people's memories soon fade, and excitement fades. Show me something new, show me something that I haven't seen before. And in some respects, I think NASA was at fault as well, because they didn't give each mission as much. It became really pretty passé for them as well. I mean, in terms of the excitement generated. And so I think that what happened is the combination. The visionaries lost, and you got this level of apathy that started to emerge, and there were a lot of things going on in the United States. I mean, in 72, you had Nixon resigning, and that might have also been a problem, because Nixon really did push the Apollo space program. He was really an advocate. He thought this was the true shining light for the United States.
I think he was absolutely right, and I think that most people agree with him, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, the space program, the halcyon days of the United States in terms of its technological prowess. I mean, that's not to say that there weren't enormous gains made. I mean, the space shuttle was a particularly complex piece of equipment that, with a couple of exceptions, worked extraordinarily well.
You're referring to Airplane 2, the sequel, I presume.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Good of you to bring that up. Yes, don't call me Shirley, right?
Surely.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly a win, as you say, for the visionaries over the central planners. Dave Patterson, thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Mark. Happy to be with you.
And we'll be right back after this short break Talking Liberty with Scott D. Cosenza. Don't go anywhere. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for LibertyNation.com.
I think we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fighting for freedom.
The tracking poll sponsored by Liberty Nation for Thursday.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and
I can
others.
do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a really big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.